After 3 years of watering my garden with a rosehead sprinkler on the end of a garden hose, I decided to finally get serious and install the drip irrigation system for this garden. This is a long garden with 20-foot beds. And so on the back side, I'm going through and clearing out the vegetation to make room for the head pipe I'm going to lay in here. By going to this drip irrigation, I will save a considerable amount of water and also prevent watering the walkways, which will reduce the amount of overall weed growth in the garden and concentrate the irrigation where I need it. I'm using a 1-inch head pipe here, so we've got a pretty good flow, and these garden stakes will hold the end of this pipe while I roll it out. It's just a flexible black plastic tubing. Once I have that stake down, I can unroll this the length of the garden, and then I'll just put little compression adapters on this for the drip tape itself. On the end of this, I put a compression end cap fitting, and those just thread on like so. And then on the other end, I put a T with the length to the right going to a potato bed that I added this year, and the section that I'm about to install being the inlet for the entire system. So all of this stuff is very easy to just thread together like this. And once we've got that done, then we can move on to getting all of these little compression fittings installed. Basic tubing cutters there, and then this is the puncture tool that makes a little hole that the barbed end of these compression fittings will go into. I'm going with 2 per bed. They're 30-inch beds, and so that gives me pretty adequate irrigation of each bed. Using a 5/8 8mm tubing with drippers every 6 inches. Each dripper will produce irrigation of about 0.4 gallon per hour. So I just roll out the tubing up one side and down the other, and then we'll get these locked into their little fittings. You just need to make sure that you don't have a dripper in the way of where you're trying to compress this tubing. Get it opened up and slip it over the nipple and twist that green nut to lock it into place. So that's the supply end. On the other end of the run, you can save yourself a good deal of money by, rather than buying the end caps for these, just cutting off about a 6-inch section of this drip tape and then folding over the end of your run there and giving it a pleat so that you can then slide your 6-inch cutoff over that, keeping that crimp in place. And so that's a much more affordable option to terminate all these drip tape runs. And with the garden all set up with that, we're ready to irrigate the entire thing in about an hour or so, whereas it used to take me an entire day to move the sprinkler through the system. And for the supply, I just added the filter on the end here. These are pretty affordable, and they just have a little filter inside that you can rinse out when need be. And then the whole thing swivels so that when you're attaching the hose, you're not twisting your head pipe. Eventually I'll hard plumb all of this into a system with timers for all the different zones, but this works for now. And then wove everything through the existing plants, since I did this mid-season, and everything is set up. I got you guys a discount of 10% at dripdepot.com, so you can click on the link in the description and take advantage of that. Here we have the hose hooked up to the system, get everything charged up, and sure enough, there are the drips coming out of the drippers. And even though we've got this set up in most places at a foot to 16 inches apart, you can see that there's pretty good saturation of the area, even in the middle between these underneath the mulch.